In 2022, the volume of raw materials exported from Kazakhstan to overseas is expected to increase by 1.5 times. The focus will be on the export to bordering countries. Kazakh Deputy Minister of Trade and Integration Kairat Torebayev said that the products will be exported to neighboring China, Russia, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan and Turkmenistan in order to achieve the target figure. Due to the chemical industry and finished food products, trade turnover can be exceeded to $245 million.
Біздің алдымызда президентпен өте маңызды талап қойылып жатыр. Бұл экспортты
We have set a very important goal with the president. It involves the further development of export. This important work is done by our ministry. Today, we are working on improving the interregional cooperation and the border relations.
ынтымақтастық және шекара маңындағы ынтымақтастықты біз жақсартып жатырмыз.
President of Ecuador, Lenin Moreno, has declared a state of emergency in the country. Nationwide protests erupted after the adoption of economic measures by the government. Since October 3rd, fuel subsidies have been eliminated in the country, which resulted in higher price of the commodity. Taxi, bus and truck drivers took to the streets to voice out their dissatisfaction. The protest is supported by trade unions. Protests continue in Iraq. More than 600 people were injured, at least 27 were killed. Curfew was imposed in several southern cities. Mass protests erupted in Baghdad on Tuesday. Unemployment and corruption prompted people to take to the streets. The police launched tear gas and live ammunition to disperse the protesters. Law enforcement officials said they shot only in the air while the protesters spoke about the lines issued by the crowd. The United States introduced new tax on a number of products from Europe. Such measures were taken by Washington after the arbitration of the World Trade Organization sided with the US in a dispute over Airbus aircraft. This conflict lasted for 15 years. The White House considered that the authorities in France, UK, Germany and Spain have illegally subsidized the European-made aircraft. The tariffs will enter into force on October 18th. However, US authorities said that they could revise the conditions depending on the result of negotiations with the EU. The Nakhchivan Agreement, which has enhanced the cooperation between Turkic-speaking countries, marks its 10th year. Ambassadors and diplomats of Turkic nations gathered in the Kazakh capital for the event. They concluded the events that have taken place over the 10 years and have made a plan for the future. The foundation of the Turkic integration was established in Nakhchivan 10 years ago. Presidents of Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan and Turkey signed an agreement on the establishment of the Turkic Council Academy and the Council of Turkic Culture and Heritage and the Council of Elders and the Summit of Turkic-speaking states. The Jubilee gathering was in conjunction with the Summit of the Turkic-speaking countries in Baku. Meanwhile, Uzbekistan will join the council as a full member. Hungary, which links the roots with the Han tribes, will have the status of an observer state.
Based on
the assignments of the first president and the summit, the Turkic Academy has finished the Common History book. The book is read in Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan and Turkey. More than 30,000 students have chosen it as a facultative subject in Turkey and Azerbaijan. Over 10,000 people have chosen the subject in Kazakhstan this year. A common geography and literature books are being developed.
Международная тюркская академия было написано и переведено более 100 книг.
More than 100 books have been written by the International Turkic Academy. The books include textbooks for universities, the Kazakh anthology translated into Azerbaijani, and Azerbaijani anthology translated into Kazakh. We have friendly cooperation in the education area. Kazakhstan allocates quotas for Azerbaijani students every year, and we also allocate the quotas for your nation.
Сотрудничество в области образования у нас очень на хорошем уровне. Ежегодно выделяются квоты для азербайджанских студентов в высших учебных заведениях Казахстана и для казахских студентов в Азербайджане.
An art Arts and Crafts exhibition was held in Tajikistan. Experienced craftswomen displayed various items ranging from national clothing to carpets and mattresses. All of these items are decorated with vivid Tajik traditional embroidery art, which is called chakan. It was inscribed on the list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of UNESCO in 2018. In Tajikistan, the items made in traditional arts and crafts style are in great demand, as well as are paid close attention. 2019 was announced as the year of village development, tourism and folk crafts in Tajikistan. Dozens of artisan schools and enterprises were opened in every region of the republic. Those who wish to learn the ancient secrets of mastery are studying 85 trends at once. The second stage of application acceptance for the competition of the State Center for Support of National Cinema has started in Kazakhstan. In October, filmmakers will be able to submit their projects for consideration by an expert council. The jury includes industry professionals, specifically screenwriters, producers, film directors, distributors, and film critics. Both feature films with potential to participate in international festivals, as well as commercial and animation films targeting the mass audience, can compete for the national film title. Previously, the Cinema Center selected 18 films to be financed.
Обязательное условие, что на конкурс должна подаваться.
The main prerequisite is that the application has to be submitted by the film producing company with the attached written script, list of team members, and planned estimate. If newcomers want to apply, for example, young filmmakers who want to participate in a short film competition, then in the pitching, we will introduce a short film or debut. We will help them. I would like them to apply with a producer because he or she will be in charge of the funds that we will allocate. The producer will also be responsible for producing the film, contacting us, and delivering the final product.
Или дебют. Но мы будем им помогать.
The State Center for Support of National Cinema also plans to introduce a unified movie ticketing system, which will allow film producers and distributors to get full overview of cinema showings in Kazakhstan and monitor data online.
Все сведения по покупке билетов через кассы любого кинозала будут приходить в единый центр.
All the information on purchasing movie tickets in the cash boxes of any cinemas will come to the Unified Information Center to process. As a result of this data, the total income, which is called box office, will be available. This will help us in further development of filmmaking as well as film distributors in the purchase and rental of new films. The analytics which have been done, for example in Russia for the past 5 years, has allowed the Russian film industry to increase its income by 30%.
5 лет оно позволило киноиндустрии России повысить свои доходы на 30%.
The unified movie ticketing system is expected to be introduced next year.
Kazakh filmmakers are shooting a movie about Abu Nasr Al-Farabi. The Arrival of the Teacher film is dedicated to 1150th anniversary of the great teacher and philosopher. The creative crew, led by film director Sergei Azimov, has visited Syria.
Это и Аль-Фараби, это и Авиценна, который утверждает о том, чтобы если бы я в свое время не смог бы...
We have been in Syria for 4 days. We have collected a lot of materials. It is one thing to watch consequences of the war from TV. The impression from witnessing the war is different. We should show how the war changes the world by proving the great ancestors' thoughts on humanism.
Это мы должны показать так, чтобы это стало понятно и убедительно зрителю. Вот это самая главная задача.
During the trip to Damascus, the film crew has found handwritten tractates of Al-Farabi in the National Library. The film crew took the copy of the unpublished handwritten works of the philosopher. 6 of the works are kept in Hebrew, 2 are written in Latin, and the remaining 30 are written in Arabic. Therefore, Al-Farabi is considered as a second teacher of humanity. The documentary is being filmed with the support of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University.
Еуропалықтар қайтадан қауышқан кезде олар таң қалды. Шынында да.
The Europeans were surprised when they returned. Indeed, we didn't understand Aristotle. We discovered a new teacher through Al-Farabi's works and his huge contribution.
Арқылы біз жаңа бағытта жаңа ұстазды көріп отырмыз деп.
The arrival of the teacher documentary film about Al-Farabi will be introduced to the public. The film will be showcased on TV and will also be distributed to schools and universities.
Kazakh fashion designers presented their collections of modern clothes in the capital of France. The distinguishing feature of the collection is that the clothes are designed in national style. For the first time, Kazakh couturiers are involved in the official program of Paris Fashion Week. In the famous Osh salon, fashion designer Aydarkhan Kaliev showcased his Peri Taraza collection, dedicated to the woman from his hometown. This is how a modern headgear, which is called kimishek, can look in his interpretation.
Этническая одежда сама по себе, она в музее или же на театральной на сцене.
Ethnic clothing is usually displayed in a museum or on stage. Our task is to promote national clothing or the clothing of nomads in the European markets. Therefore, such a style was created and called neo-folklore. This is a folk national clothing endowed with the spirit of modernity.
Неофольклор в моем понятии это народная национальная одежда, наделенная духом современности.
An abundance of national motifs can be seen in the collection created by Gulnara Kasim. Experts noticed the work of the capital's fashion designer previously at Tashkent Fashion Week.
I
presented my collection in Tashkent, where my colleague Aydarkhan Kaliev saw it and offered to take part in the Paris Fashion Week. I'm very glad to showcase my collections on this level. European experts said that the collections of the Kazakh fashion designers reflect all the cultural wealth of the great steppe country.
Amazing, super intricate, and I love how the models were walking very slowly because we could really see the designs and the intricacy of it. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Kazakh representatives of fashion industry managed to conquer Paris. Kazakh couturiers have already taken part previously in the European Fashion Week of Milan, Berlin and Amsterdam. The fashion designers are confident that the collections under the brand made in Kazakhstan will be worn by fashion lovers worldwide.
The concert Vocal Parallels, dedicated to the memory of the outstanding opera singer Erik Kurmangaliev, was held in the capital. The countertenor artist has been spending much of his time performing concerts. The Kazakh artist has been performing operas and solo programs on the famous stages of the world. Masterpieces of world classic as well as works of Kazakh operas were performed by friends and colleagues of Erik Kurmangaliev.
Его голос, он попал в книгу рекордов, для него писал сам Шнитке.
His voice was included in the Book of Records. Schnittke, a Soviet and German composer, wrote for him. Today, his friends, artists from Russia, including famous pianist Alexander Kotovchikov, soprano Larisa Rudakova, soloist of the Bolshoi Theater of Moscow, as well as two countertenors, Rustam Yavayev and Oleg Ryabets, came to the Astana Opera Theater. I think that for our audience, it is a huge interesting opportunity to hear firsthand such rare voices of the countertenor, as well as to plunge into old music, into those gallant styles that will be presented today to our deeply respected public.
Которые сегодня будут представлены нашей глубоко уважаемой публике.
The art of Jurau is a source of steppe melodies of nomads. These ancient folklore's main specialty lies in poetry, music, and art of performance. The traditional genres are the voluminous jur, tolgau, and terme. Moreover, there are also ancient, heroic, romantic, legendary, and historical subgenres. Ozan ancient art was transferred to Jurau tradition during the Oghuz period. This had become a foundation for creative works of Tonukuk, Khorqat, Asan Qaygı, Khastugan, Dospambet, Shalkiz, Jiembet, and Margasqa Juraus. Jurau tradition had been actively developed in Central Asia from 15th to 18th centuries.
Орта Азия халықтарының ішінде түркі заманында ұзан деп аталды. Ұзандар.
Central Asian people used to call them Ozan and Ozandar during the Turkic era. Since then, the art of Jurau had been developed on the Kazakh steppe. Asia's Bakhshi, Azerbaijan's Ashuk, and Turkey's Uzan take root from our common historical era. There is a Kazakh saying, Fingers have different points, but the arm is one. Turkic-speaking countries' common roots, culture, and music originate from natural and historical depth. Therefore, art is a source of friendship and brotherhood for us.
Сондықтан да өнер бұл достықтың, бауырластықтың тал бесігі.